one of the first things to understand when we talk about pricing is it's a very emotive topic. Everyone thinks they understand it. You go into any business and go, oh yeah, but this is the way we do it around here. And they make very emotional decisions. So there's a very basic fundamental issue, which is if I'm cheaper, I'll sell more. You go, okay, I can subscribe to that. And if I'm more expensive, I'll sell less. Okay. But that's not the right question.
Right, okay.
The right question is, if you drop your prices in order to be able to sell more stuff, you're going to make less money. So how much more do you need to sell to recoup what you've just given away? And no one does the financial question.
Sure.
They just do the emotional one. Cheaper sells more expensive sells less. I'm going to do this. And as an accountant, I love numbers. That's my thing. But as a business owner, you go, it's not an emotional issue. It's a financial issue. You've got to crunch the numbers. And no one does. So that's the starting problem we have with a pricing issue is people are making judgments based on emotional reactions, not calculated, functional, financial decision making. Another one I often see, and I had it with a client of mine, electrical wholesaling business, 10 branches, pretty much left to their own devices. One branch sells their staple product, 2.5 twin and earth cable, at, let's say, £20 a roll. All the others are selling at £30 a roll. And you go, why are you doing that? And he said, oh, it's a loss leader, brings footfall in. And I go, okay, I understand the emotional judgment. If I'm cheaper on that product, more customers will come in the front door. And your belief that they will buy more other products as a result. I understand the logic of that. Prove it. Show me. Well, what do you mean? Well, okay, you sell cable at this price. How many consumer units do you sell compared to the branch down the road that sells it at a higher price and the number of consumer units that they sell? And you crunch those numbers and you go, you're not selling any more of any other products than the guy down the road selling his core product cheap, more expensive than you are. So your logic of a loss leader is not working. What's actually happening is they come in, they buy your cable, and they go somewhere else to buy other stuff. So your footfall is up, your revenues are not. So again, that emotional decision of it's a loss leader, it works like this, it doesn't work like that. And it might work, but show me, prove it, crunch the numbers. So there's quite a lot of things where when you get into pricing, you find that people are making judgments without facts, without information.
And because of your background and experience, and you've seen this hundreds, if not thousands of times, you're able to say that and ask those questions.
Absolutely. I mean, again, one of the common things you get, particularly in a box shifting business. So if you buy stuff and sell stuff, slightly different dynamics, but the same principles in a business that sells time, like lawyers or accountants. But in a box shifting business, one of the very first exercises we do is a customer classification. We just get their customers and rank them. And we go, okay, who are your top customers? Who are the A's? Who are the most important customers you do not wish to lose because they spend a lot of money and they're important potential referrers of business? And who are the middle ones where they're nice cash cows, steady buyers, they buy a lot of stuff, they come in when they need stuff. And then you've got ones at the bottom who don't spend very often or don't spend very much. And we do that analysis. Now when I go into businesses, they don't know this stuff. They've never done that exercise. And then what you find is, and again, this is a real example, and it's certainly typical of many businesses. The last business I went into, 5% of their customers by number was 2/3 of their turnover. And that's not a massive surprise. They're big spenders. And I said, when was the last time you spoke to these people? Oh, yeah, I don't know. I haven't spoken to them. These are your top. You can't lose these customers. Wow. That's a big chunk of turnover. Next category, I think it was about 32%, something like that, just under a third, reflected about 45% of their turnover. So a big chunk of customers, big chunk of turnover. And the maths, what you get left with, if my maths serves me right, and it should do, I'm an accountant, is 2% of your revenue comes from 50% of your customers. Now, I'm an accountant, but you don't need to be an accountant to go, that doesn't make money. Yeah, sure. That can't make money. No. And again, they haven't done the maths bit of the equation. They just go, all customers are important. No, they're not. Everyone's equal. No, they're not. Big customers are more important, not necessarily scale, but big spenders, good margins, repeat customers, loyal customers. Those first two categories are the ones you've got to spend your time on. Where does the time normally get sucked into? The miserable so-and-sos at the bottom end who moan about everything, complain about the price, don't buy very much, don't pay on time. And that's a huge chunk of time and energy expended on a tiny amount of turnover. And again, different dynamics in other businesses, but the principles are the same. Big customers, middle customers, small customers, do the numbers, and what you probably end up with is get rid of the small ones. Make your business leaner.
Make an
better
active
customers.
decision
Active
to let
decision.
them go.
Sack them. Yeah. Actually, what we normally say is don't just write them a letter and saying, please go somewhere else. Push their prices up, and if they stay, they are promoted into the second category. They're now good customers because they're paying a decent price. Or set minimum order quantities so they can't place a £20 order, or make them cash only customers so you haven't got a debt recovery problem. So change the proposition for those bottom customers, and if they don't like it, they vote to leave. You don't have to sack them. They'll vote with their feet if they don't like the new terms that you're offering to that category of customers. I mean, just by way of example, the minimum order quantity, in order to work that out, the first thing we do is we go, well, how much does it cost you to make a transaction occur? So in this electrical wholesaling business, somebody rings up, says, have you got one of these? Yes, we have. What's the price? That's the price. Can you send me a quote? Sent out by email. Yes, I'd like to order that. Somebody picks it, packs it, ships it. Invoice is raised and sent. Statement is raised and sent. Somebody chases money. You finance it for 60 days. It's at least £5 of anyone's money to undertake that transaction. If their margin, as it was 25%, any order below £20, you've lost money.
Yes.
They had 14,000 transactions below £20.
Wow.
Now, a lot of those were small transactions on big customers. Okay, leave them alone. That's okay.
Sure.
A lot of them were once a year customers, a couple of times a year customers. You're losing money servicing those customers. And then you get the emotional reaction, which is, oh yeah, but they might be a big customer next year. Okay, they haven't been for 5 years previously. They're not going to be in the next year. But again, that emotional decision-making without facts makes flawed decisions.
And because you're not emotionally linked to the
Absolutely.
team, you're able to ask those really hard-hitting questions that they think are hard-hitting, and you're just saying, these aren't hard-hitting, these are just
absolutely
run-of-the-mill, day-to-day questions that you should be asking every day.
Yeah, and I think that is part of the value we bring to the equation is, and sometimes if we're running a project where we're rewarded based on success of the project, I have a financial imperative to kick their backside because I don't earn any money if they don't do the things they need to do. So we are detached in the sense of I have no emotional reaction to saying to a customer, he's rubbish, get rid of him. I also have an air of authority. I've done it many times before, and they go, oh yeah, but, and I go, okay, yeah, but what? Show me, prove, show me the numbers. Your logic makes sense, prove it works. And of course they can't because they're making emotional decisions.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.